There's been a stock market dip that has been happening for quite some time now. And although there are some stocks to be wary about, there are some other stocks to capitalize on. Warren Buffett famously stated to be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. And I think right now is the perfect time to jump on certain stocks that have the least amount of risk. The criteria that I will use is that a stock should first have some sort of dip prior to the stock market correction. This dip must not be anything that affects the company in any negative way or be reflective of any kind of bad news. This makes the perfect combination, combined with the stock market correction, that you can be sure that this stock is at a discounted price. The stock that I'll be talking about is Palantir. Palantir uses data to help companies make better decisions. And as a person who's in this space, I can see that this field is growing at a very fast rate, as more companies rely more on the data and become more data-centric. On to their business model. Palantir provides analytics to both government and commercial institutions. In current events, it is worth mentioning that the US government uses Palantir in times of war to track down any enemies as well as hotspots. They also sign up to gain any data insight in regards to the pandemic. This is useful as it shows that Palantir's usage will not be slowed down anytime soon. But before I get into the company, let's talk about why this stock had its dip prior to the correction. The COO, Shyam Sankar, recently sold over 700,000 shares. Other executives within the company also partook in selling some of their shares as well. However, to me, this is not reflective of any kind of bad news, as it was a relatively small amount compared to their portfolio size. And they still hold a significant amount of shares still. Recently, we saw Elon Musk's brother sell a big portion of his Tesla shares. This in turn caused a bit of panic and forced the price to drop. So it is not uncommon for a company's price to dip after notable members sell some of their shares. The company has been around since 2006, so to me it is not weird that some of the members have liquefied their shares. To me, this news is not strong enough to be bearish on Palantir. Notably, more people believe that Palantir's price will increase towards 50 than they do believe that it will drop towards 20. There's also been a lawsuit going on with the NHS, who is a client of Palantir, over the usage of data. It is important to note that it is not a lawsuit against Palantir itself. Nonetheless, I personally don't think this lawsuit has much credibility, as Palantir is GDPR compliant, so users' data information is always kept in mind when it comes to privacy. Their financials are also impressive, as they generated $1.1 billion in 2020 alone, with a 47% increase year over year. And of that $1.1 billion, $322 million was done in Q4, with a 40% increase year over year. As they're expanding and getting more clients, it is important to note that the average revenue per customer was $7.9 million, which is a 41% increase year over year. They have also signed with some big name clients in just Q4 alone. Some of these names include PG&E, the FDA, US Army, the US Air Force, and IBM. Aside from all that, an analyst from Goldman Sachs has increased the price target from just $13 to $34. On top of all that, it is also worth mentioning that ARK Invest has recently purchased almost 6 million shares of Palantir. With all this great news, it is hard for me to believe that Palantir will not be a great investment in the long term. But let me know what you think.